Hi everyone, welcome back. Today's video is a little different. We're going to be testing the differences in available wind buffeters or wind foilers or wind spoilers for the 6th gen Camaro. There's a few out there and I'll cover about 4 of them, including what it looks like when you roll the windows down on the OEM ones, which looks a lot like this. You can see, using the string method, how absolutely deformed the wind gets as it enters the car. And this is typically how most HPDE events are run. You have to have the windows down for safety, security reasons. And anyone that has done an HPDE with a PDR knows that roughly around 110, maybe a little lower than that, the audio coming from the PDR is absolutely useless. It's just all wind noise. So what we're going to do today is test them out and see how it affects the strings, but also see how it affects the PDR audio. So stick with me and let's go test these out. All right, thanks for joining. I want to show you the different pieces that we're actually going to test out on the car today. Obviously, we have the OEM unit, which just comes on the car. So congratulations, you already have this one. We're also going to test out the universal style from 034 Motorsports. This one simply two-way tapes to the A-pillar right about here and helps direct air away from the window. So this is roughly $35 and for a pair of them, and will work on any vehicle with an A-pillar, so lots of them. Next up we have the DIY Kydex. So this is cut and formed from a sheet of Kydex that you can get on Amazon for about 10-15 bucks. I'll have the links for all of this stuff down in the description. But this is just cut based on some measurements, and then you apply some heat to it with a heat gun and form and shape it, and uses some adhesive and just kind of sticks onto the OEM piece that's already on the car. There's also the Follow My Line version, which is mine. This is a collaboration between me and my business partner, Tony. We've been holding off on selling these because we wanted to test them and get some data out there before we put them on the market. So again, just some two-way tape adhesive that just sticks right onto the OEM pillar piece. And then the final piece we'll be testing is from Wilder Racing. This is a more complete solution in the way that it replaces the OEM cap altogether. It is fully 3D printed from ASA, uses some foam and the clips on the back, and that just pops on after you pop the other piece out. ASA, the stuff that we make is from PETG. Again, there's some benefits to both of them, but let's get to testing and see what we can come up with. Again, this is the factory OEM piece, OEM or PDR audio. Just going to keep talking here as we test this out. And we're looking at both the strings and we're comparing the audio. So I will switch to the PDR audio just so that we can see what the actual sound is like when we're doing this. You can see how turbulent the strings are. And I might actually grab or reduce the amount of strings so that they aren't getting tangled up. Okay, that was the OEM piece. So now we know how terrible the initial design is. One thing to keep in mind, the reason that manufacturers don't kind of make these right from the get-go is they're very much concerned with drag coefficient, and something that sticks out off of the car does not help with gas mileage or, you know, drag coefficient. So they do all their testing with their windows up, and in an HPDE event, your windows are typically down. You know, safety reasons, lets the crew get to you easier, less broken glass everywhere. But that was the OEM version. Now let's check out the 034 Motorsports. All right, so here we have the 034 Motorsports universal wind deflector. It just uses some adhesive, 3M adhesive tape, like most of these do, and it just attaches to the A-pillar of the car. So we'll see how this one reacts, and we'll drop the windows here. We'll start recording on the PDR for the 034 Motorsports. And I tried to reduce the amount of strings here so that they didn't get tangled up. It's actually doing a pretty good job. It's definitely, I can hear a difference. I can see the strings are a little more tame. They're actually going up the A-pillar as opposed to sticking around in this area here. So I'm going to increase the speeds here to see how the PDR audio does. Here's how this will change with the one window up. It's actually doing a really solid job. Still guiding that air away from the gear. Get a little bit of buffeting with the passenger window up. Turn around here. Do this safely. I'm going to get up to speed. So far, just initial impressions of the 034 Motorsports. It works. On to the next one. Now let's check out the DIY Kydex version. Okay, here we have the DIY solution, which is just a sheet of Kydex that's been cut and then bent using a heat gun. We'll see how this goes. I will roll the windows down here and see what kind of reaction we get out of the strings. So far pretty good. Just like the 034 Motorsport, it is pushing the strings up and away. Much more, it's actually a little more turbulent just using the naked eye here. Sound is, buffeting sound is about the same. So we'll see how this reacts once we get to those HPDE speeds with the PDR audio. But again, it's doing a decent job. It's directing the airflow up. These are the largest deflectors of the sets that I'm testing out. See where we get here. Yeah, it's just pushing these strings straight up and away from the window, so that's good. As far as one window up, one window down, this is actually doing a better job of the buffeting noise, the pulsing that you hear within your ears when you have one window up, one window down, than the 034 Motorsport was. So let's see what we can figure out here with some HPDE speeds. Okay, we're up to better speeds now, and we're good. I don't know how the audio is, but we definitely in that HPD range. So we're pushing all the straight up and off it. Well, let's see how the PPR on. Strings are starting to get tangled up again, so I'll have to detangle them or replace them. I've been keeping track of how long the lengths are and the position that I have them taped on so that the results are consistent. Let's go ahead and check out the Wilder Racing version that replaces the OEM cap altogether. So here we have the Wilder Racing unit. This is the most complete unit in the sense that it's fully 3D printed to replace the original cap that goes on the side of the door there. So you're not sticking anything on, you're replacing the OEM cap. Now I'm gonna go ahead and roll the windows down. One of the things that's a little different with this unit is how it directs the airflow. It looks like it's more designed, the angle is pitched downward, whereas a lot of the others are pitched upward. So we'll see how this kind of reacts. I think the wind turbulence is fine. From a noise standpoint, I actually think it's a little bit, there's a little bit more of a whistle to the air that's coming in, which is fine. It's still doing its thing. Yeah, looks to be pretty solid. We'll see here what we can do, how the PDR audio reacts to the wind. So let's go ahead and get up to HPDE speeds here. I'm hoping this is catching it on camera because it's not, I guess it is directing air upward as well. It's just the pitch at the end of it curves down where all the rest curve up. Doing a test here with one of the windows up and one of the windows down. Wind buffeting doesn't seem to be an issue. I'd say about the same as the DIY Kydex, but let's get up to those HPDE speeds. Test here. And hopefully by the end of the day I don't get arrested. Let's test and see how the Follow My Line version does next. Alright, so here we have the Follow My Line version of the Wind Deflector, and it is a stick-on version as well. It's not quite as large as the DIY dimensions that I had cut earlier. It does have a recess. It is 3D printed. It's made out of PETG. I know the Wilder Racing version is made out of ASA, but we'll go ahead and drop the windows here and see how it affects wind. We'll try to straighten these out. it is pushing all of the strings up and over. There we go, got some more here. So I'm doing roughly 60 miles an hour here, nothing too crazy. Cabin pressure seems good, not a whole lot of deflection. It's doing its job, just like all the others have done their job. I promise you I'm not going to be biased here. I know this is my own product, but the real reason I did this is that I wanted to know the difference, where things can be improved. I'm going to share my feedback with Wilder Racing. So we're here for the community. We're doing this together, essentially. Not together in the sense that we're working together on this, just we're here for the same goal. Get people solutions or get them information. So I'm going to do this with one window rolled up to see how buffeting is affected there, and try to pull these strings down again. Like I said, they're just kind of getting pushed up on their own because the deflector is doing its job. So as far as cabin pressure, it's about equal with Wilder Racing. I'm not getting too much vibration buffeting in my ears, so that's good. Yeah, I'm liking these. So we'll see. We'll drop this down again. We'll see how things go at HPDE speeds. Got the PDR audio going. Honestly, I think whatever solution you choose to do, you'll be happy with. The biggest difference between like the DIY solution and then the Wilder Racing solution and the Follow My Line solution is consistency, right? With the DIY one, you're doing the cutting yourself, you're doing the bending yourself. Even between the driver and the passenger side, I tried to get them as equal as possible on the DIY version, and they're just a little slightly more flared. All right, we're gonna get up to HPDE speeds. Yeah, we are here, and that's it. It's at HPDE speed. Air pressure inside the cabin is solid. About the same amount of air whistle as the Wilder Racing. So, yeah, I think overall, regardless of which one you choose, you'll have some benefit. So, let's take it back to the garage. Okay, now that we've tested all of them, here are my thoughts. Your thoughts may differ, but it's just personal opinion. Again, I was doing this to be as honest and unbiased as possible, but I'm gonna go ahead and kind of rank them in the order that I would do them or buy them or whatever. So I'll also give you some feedback on what I thought between airflow and PDR audio. So the one that I think performed the best was honestly the DIY Kydex version. It is the largest piece and probably why it did the best from an PDR audio standpoint. After listening to it, you can tell that the Kydex version probably did the best at quieting down the cabin at HPDE speeds with the PDR. It is the largest piece. It's not very pretty. It doesn't look good. And you do have to make it yourself. So if you're not real savvy, don't have the tools, even though this is probably the least expensive, you may want to stick with one of the pre-manufactured versions. Next up, I would say, is the Follow My Line version. Again, I'm not being biased here, although you're probably not going to agree with that statement. But the reason that I chose this is between airflow and PDR audio, this kind of gave a really good balance between the two. Airflow is directed up and outward. It's not quite as large as the Kydex piece, so it doesn't look nearly as hideous sticking off of the car. And I'll put some pictures up on the screen here so you can kind of see all of them. And also the PDR data, the audio for the PDR, I should say, did really well. Not as good as the Kydex version, but it did really well. Next up, the Wilder Racing version. I would say that from an overall wind deflection standpoint, great piece. The design and fit and finish of it is really nice. It is, you know, fully 3D printed. It's a full replacement piece, so you don't have to worry about something being attached to the car. This is a full replacement. Some feedback for Kyle, maybe have the wind deflection going up instead of down. And also, just from a printing standpoint, if you print the bottom edge first, you'll get less of this wrinkled finish here. That is the side that you see when you're in the car. But PDR audio wise, this did not do so hot. And I think that reason is because the wind doesn't go up, it actually gets deflected down. So you're still getting some of that turbulence getting into the car. I think between this and the universal piece from 034 Motorsports, it's probably a tie, because although the 034 Motorsports did a slightly better job at the PDR audio, in my opinion, it did not do as well of a job with deflecting the air as any of these other three did. So those are my thoughts. This is the OEM piece. I was going to throw this, but I remembered I have to put it back in the car. So hopefully that helps you make a decision on which one you choose to do. I think that there's a solution here for everybody, especially with the varying price points. The universal piece is about $35. The Kydex, the DIY, is about $15. The Follow My Line version, these should be available right around $40 or so. And then the full replacement piece from Wilder Racing run about 80 bucks. So hopefully this video helped you make a decision. I had a lot of fun making it. I actually learned quite a bit about airflow. I had fun taping strings to the car. So hopefully you enjoyed it as much as I enjoyed making it. Till next time, till the next project, see you then.